Three-dimensional physical lag time. What to do with it? Be there now. Hello, welcome to Rewrite Reality with Reese. I am your host. In today's video, there was a question about three-dimensional, non-physical or physical experiencing of the apparent lag time and delay in your physical experiencing of reality as awareness between you and the thing that you want, the version of yourself experiencing the thing that you want in the way that you want to be experiencing it. So the question more specifically was mentioned something about believing in going to the gym and intending to build some sort of solid workout routine. And that's all well and good. But right now, however, the person the person who posed the question, 50 years old, haven't trained consistently for however many years, whatever, doesn't matter, and feel fatigued most of the time. Can I shift into having much more vitality and energy through consciousness? Now, you see, just going to stop here for a second. You don't do anything through consciousness. If consciousness is the literal only thing that exists, then anything that you think, anything that you imagine, anything that you're assuming, anything that you are believing, anything that you are knowing, you are doing as consciousness. See, through is a fun word because we still identify with our separate being physically. It is being experienced separate from everything else. But you are consciousness. You are actually consciousness. Say, no, but I can do that. Yeah, consciousness is doing that. Consciousness created the illusion of an absolutely physical experience now. You see, when you're doing this, right, you're only doing it now. Every single time you do that, you're doing it now. Every single time you poke yourself and you feel the physicality of yourself, you're only feeling it now. You can't feel yourself physically in the previous moment, and you can't feel yourself physically in the next moment until you're actually here and now, in this moment, here and now, feeling yourself physically. Even when you imagine yourself in a week's time, it's just knowing. It's just the fictional projection of yourself saying, oh, I'm just going to jump in a week's time and it's Wednesday afternoon or whatever it is, and I'm going to be poking myself. And your knowing just is that now. Your knowing is the scene. That's how reality actually is. You're knowing, hey, it's Wednesday, it's in the afternoon, and I'm poking myself in the cheek and I'm feeling myself physically, and I know that I'm imagining all of it. This is all imagined. It's only consciousness. It is actually as simple as that. It's just imagination. The entire thing. It's just one singular frame that is very, 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 if not completely hyper-focused, giving it the physicality, and it's gone. And it keeps coming back as another physically focused experience so quickly, you don't even notice that the one that you were experiencing physically is gone. Can I change my identity and assumptions so completely? You're always doing that because every moment in that new moment of physicality, in that new moment of awareness, it's literally different, even if you think it's the same one, that I experience myself as far more energetic. Yes. Even before any physical routine has had time to produce results, the physical routine doesn't produce results. The result of who you are manifests the physical routine where you experience that identity that unfolds the result of being that which you desire to be already. In other words, I am fit. Whatever you physically end up experiencing is just the manner and path of least resistance for yourself that you go through and experience as consciousness, that version of you that's fit. And you're never locked into that version either, because as you're experiencing that, it's another version entirely, continuously, over and over again, being greater than what it was prior, greater in awareness. So how do I become more fit through your metaphysical teachings? Cool question, but remember, when you know yourself as source, that is actually all that matters. You are never locked into anything. I love training. I love fitness. I love athleticness. I love that kind of thing. every single day is different. It's a different thing. No matter how much I I think about a routine, and at times I've experienced having routines and having things unfolding and having all of those ideas and knowing all of those exercises and timings and all of this stuff. It's changing all the time, but I know that. So it doesn't matter. So how do I do it through consciousness with I don't have any, with your methods, I don't have any methods for anything. There's billions of methods. Anything that allows you to focus, that is a method. That is the base of what a method is. A method helps you focus on you being that which you desire to be already. That's about it. When you're scripting, when you're affirming, when you are imagining, when you are typing in ChatGPT, when you are looking at the moon and saying it's in retrograde with Mars or whatever the hell, when you're looking at tarot cards, all of those things, they are nothing more than methods of focus. And it's not your physical self that focuses, it's you as consciousness that's focused, manifesting your physical self, experiencing focusing. It's always consciousness first. It'll only ever be consciousness first. It has to only ever be consciousness first, because the three-dimensional physically focused world doesn't actually have a mind to do anything on its own. I am simply saying that you are consciousness. Over and over again, I keep saying you are consciousness. Let's unpack this in a different way. So if I were to say, imagine yourself fit in the way you prefer, that's it. Would you ask me how, or would you just simply do it? You do it, and then you'd ask me a million questions as to, did I do it right? When will it happen? How is it going to happen? What is going to happen? And none of that stuff matters. Like, okay, I'm struggling to believe that I can run a 50K, 50 miles, wherever you're from, and feel it because I'm struggling to get out of bed in the morning. Yeah, cool. Struggle to get out of bed in the morning and still know that you are that identity right now. That's who you identify as that person. And no matter what's going on through your day, every day, that's what's unfolding. That's it. That is actually it. It's even simpler than how I can explain it, because you're just walking in the assumption that you are that now. Asking me how to imagine is actually really, in my opinion, asking, how do I know what I am currently knowing? You're knowing it. You already know it. You are literally knowing it, and you're asking me, how do I know it? You already know there is a foot version of yourself. There, cool, done. It exists. You are asking how to know that version of yourself more than the version you're currently aware of. Just be more aware of it then. I want to be more aware of that me. That's who I choose to be, the one that's fit, the one that is healthy, the one that is running around as if I were young, or however you want to say it. Right? Realize that every physical moment you experience is you as source. So source is you experiencing itself physically in every moment, if you reverse that. And you as experience itself experiencing it. See, we have this idea that these nouns or adjectives of describing words are not able to have consciousness. But you are experience itself. You are experiencing and the experienced itself. You are those things that we refer to that we don't think are alive, living. If I were to say the word beautiful, if I were to say the word happy, if I were to say the word joyful, those things are you alive. You can't speak to the concept of beauty because you are the concept of beauty experiencing itself through you. You are literally everything. If there's a word for it, you are that thing the word refers to. So, what's going on then with you and your desired reality or current reality experience that you're experiencing over and over again? You as Source made a movie of yourself at 50 years old and feeling tired. Everybody has that movie. Everybody has that experience. Everybody has an infinite version of exactly what I just said. In fact, everybody probably who is listening to this imagined unconsciously, not through images, but just through knowing, a version of yourself who is 50 and feeling old and very tired. Then stepped into that experience. When I say stepped into it, I mean this source or God as reality itself, the very substance and fabric of the universe, arranged itself into the reality experience of a 50-year-old person who is not fit as they would prefer. That's the story. That's it. It doesn't matter. And when I say the very fabric of the universe, I know it can seem like I'm talking about something so cosmically insane in a very small, like everyday seen YouTube video. And here's the funny thing: it actually is that. That's the that's the really funny thing. Where you're sitting in a small house, you're sitting in a small place, you're sitting in a small way, you're feeling very physically small. And I'm talking about cosmically huge, universal, insane beingness of everything that exists as you watching a tiny screen or a big screen maybe. And it sounds insane. Yeah, but why not though? That's all it is, right? It has no actual meaning outside of experience itself. Any meaning we give to it may feel right, but ultimately it has none. In fact, the more right you think a feeling and a story is to as a story that you're looking at and telling, probably more wrong it is. Because the story you tell when you look at something, that story is gone. It's already gone. You're looking at something else. You as that source are not limited to this physically focused moment. If you were limited to a specific physically focused moment, you would still be a 1-year-old. Right? That's how it's changing. It changes through you experiencing age and experiencing time and experiencing stories and experiencing people coming in and out of your life and experiencing your physical self being different and experiencing your thoughts being different, blah, blah, blah. And it is only ever one story. Right now, you are physically aware of it, physically experiencing it, and non-physically knowing it at the same time. That's why it feels so solid and as though it is your only reality, because that physical self exists only in that moment along with whatever's happening. Once that moment's gone, that physical self is gone with it. And I say gone, it's just gone back to potential. You have never experienced a physical self and the potential of that physical self twice. You have experienced a very, 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 very similar version that looks almost identical in every way except actually being identical to it. So when you be still and know that I am God, you realize that the physical you is not the whole you, but it is the whole you within it, because God can't be split up. So even though you are experiencing 0.0000001% of what God can be, 100% of God is being it. And it's also being every other moment. Don't ask me how, it just is. That's the funny thing. God is just doing that. There's no how it is doing that. It just is doing that. I said, no, but that's not a good answer. Yeah, but any answer I give you, it's just going to be God giving you that answer as that. It isn't the answer. The answer is it exists. That's it. And it exists as everything right now. That's base. It is a projection that reflects the beliefs and assumptions you have decided upon. Because if the reason your awareness reflects your own beliefs and assumptions immediately is that God is simultaneously being everything, but there's nothing objective about any experience that it has from anyone's point of view. See, every point of view is consciousness. Every one of our points of views are consciousness, completely blank. And if you are completely blank and you have access to every single frame of reality, that when you put those frames in a certain order, they are your beliefs and assumptions in that order, that means you can experience any belief and any assumption immediately in that order. That's exactly what you're doing, what everyone else is doing. And that's why you don't change reality. You're just rearranging frames from your point of view, just by imagining it, because that's what God does. That's what you do. You and God are one. I am that I am. But my Father is greater than I, because awareness knows all the frames, while you are knowing the frames. So you can experience them, because God can't experience things. God just is things. You are experiencing things by knowing them. So the non-physical awareness that you truly are simply decided, I believe I am 50, I am at this level of physical fitness, that is my story, and it's apparently not changing, but stories always change, they can change, they are not fixed. So even though you are experiencing that every day, it's a new version of that every day. Not just every day, every hour, every minute, every second, every moment. I am simply reminding you of who you are. And every time you remind yourself, I am consciousness. I get to decide who I am, completely, ground up, bottom down. But knowing that from consciousness, I am setting everything right now. I am limitless. That same non-physical awareness, consciousness itself, which is experiencing itself thinking, is that now, because it's you. That is what you are. A lot of people message me and they say, well, my 3D physical self is like this, and then my awareness is like this. Okay, if your 3D physical self is like that, and your awareness is like this, who's the one looking at those two things? You the awareness, not that, not this. These ideas exist within your awareness. So as awareness, you imagine yourself as you would prefer to be and assume that is who you are now. Don't add conditions, because conditions don't matter, they don't do anything. I want this thing without doing that thing. Why do you want that? Why do you want to not want that thing that you don't want to do? Why does it even come up if you don't want to do it? Where's the focus on what you want or what you don't want to be doing to have what you want? I want to be fit without going to the gym, but you're the one that brought up the gym in the first place. God didn't say anything about a gym. You said, I want to be fit, but I don't want to go to the gym right now. Okay? Cool. That's your life. You want to be fit and you don't want to go to the gym. That's exactly what you're living. You want to be fit and you don't want to go to the gym. Can you see the subtlety? It's like, I want to be fit without going to the gym. Is that not what you're living? The simple sense that simply sends you searching for a way to avoid something you already said you believe has some sort of value to you. Instead, go to the end. I am fit, and whatever happens, happens. That's all. This is who you are now. That is your decision. That is your reality. That is your destiny. That is your experience. Everything else is meaningless after that statement. And here's the thing. You can be fit, absolutely, without requiring to go to the gym, because you are already that fit person, regardless of what it is you're doing. It exists. Why worry about what you can't see, hoping what you believe you can see as the answer must not be the answer? Why bother? You know what you want. Go to what you want. And thinking about this question a bit deeper, when you ask, what is it that I actually want to know right now? In this moment we call lag time and the gap and delay. That's what I'm talking about. When you're just sitting there and say, well, now what do I do? The tendency in these moments when you're asking yourself, well, who do I say I am? You start to go on the hunt for your assumptions, your identities, your definitions, your limiting beliefs, old stories. There must be something that I am missing. Then you start looking for something that you're missing. But you have all access to yourself absolutely and completely. So if you have all access to yourself absolutely and completely, what are you looking for? It's just another form of searching. You can just declare it again. Declare who you are again. You're always declaring who you are. Instead of declaring I am looking for something, declare I am that. No matter how many times I ask myself or how many times you ask yourself, declare who you are. The declaration is not separate from me. My declaration is knowing. I am knowing it. People talk about this lag time, this gap time, this old story time, this old reality time, all time. What are they really doing? Right? They're giving a name to the perception of a physical reality that doesn't appear to match what they desire. And then you're creating a distance that's also an illusion between you and that thing, wondering when that thing will not be so far away. You're giving the physical a name because it doesn't appear to be what you want. Nothing appears in the three-dimensional world that will give you any kind of indication as to where something is. It doesn't need to. Where is it? It's here and now. It's literally just here and now. Every moment you experience, you will only ever experience here and now. If you think something is in the future, the here and now of what you're experiencing is you thinking it's in the future. Or the past, same thing. That's all. They're noticing the current frame and calling it not what I want. This frame is not what I want. This frame is lag time. This frame is gap. This frame is all story. This frame is all reality. This frame is my bank account being at zero or whatever. You're looking at it and you're giving it a name. It has no name. Its name is I am. Your name is I am. It's I am experiencing myself having no money. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that statement. No, but it's wrong. I can't pay for this. No, that is just one experience of reality. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not your choice. Does not make something incorrect. Something as your choice does not make it correct. The only correctness is allness, as oneness, as beingness. That's loveness. Right? Honestly, it's not like I am above any kind of situation that I don't prefer. Right? Everyone has that. Everyone has things they don't prefer. That's how Source knows itself. It experiences things it doesn't prefer and comes to the awareness of things it does prefer and identifies with that now and goes in that direction within itself, as itself. And then when it is there, it becomes knowing of more. That's it. You're doing a round robin of yourself. So yes, you can notice the physical appearance. You can notice yourself thinking about rubbish. Right? You can notice that you don't need to stop every thought because you can't stop every thought because it's going to come back like a boomerang. Right? Well, it doesn't really come back. It's another one. It just looks the same. But what do I choose to know anyway? The part of every desire is the actual experiencing of it. Right? Not just having a dream home, but knowing, hey, this is my dream home that I desire to be. Like I'm here now in my imagination, and that is reality. That's filtering into my physical world, as my physical world, sorry. Knowing every room, clothes, belongings, everything, my work, my life, my career, my beingness, the people that I am friends with and love to be around, and lovers and partners and blah, 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 right? Everything is perfectly placed by my knowing of it. When you imagine yourself at your dinner table and the cup is on the left-hand side, it's there. That's where that cup is. It always existed on that table on the left-hand side and you're sitting there. If you imagine it on the right-hand side, it is there. That's another cup that's on the right-hand side. There's another table with a cup that has it on the right-hand side. It's another you, another version of that world. That's how subtle and how different Source is. No matter how small the change is, completely different. So after you have imagined it, and you give thanks for feeling it so wonderfully and blissfully, then what? There is no answer to that because there's no direction. There's nothing you need to do. You already did it. So what do you want to know? Nothing but who you have actually always been, which is the source of knowing. And anything you know now can only ever be you. Just a quick rundown here. Remember, you are that source, and whatever that source is focused on, whatever you are holding a light to, as the light, lighting yourself up, because what you're holding is you. You see that man in the left-hand side picture, that man, that consciousness, it's holding a frame. The man, depicted as a man, is an illusion giving you the comfortableness that you are that consciousness as that being holding something. The illusion is that it is drawn in a familiar way, but you are that block. You're the block, and you're the depiction of Source, and you are the thing inside the block. You are the words in the block. You are the man in the block or the woman in the block. You are everything in that picture, not just the man. That's the illusion. And you are the moment of now. So when you're shifting blocks, which you are doing every moment, you are in the block, you are the block, and you are the consciousness holding up the block, giving light to it simultaneously at the same time. And every single time you shift, because you're shifting automatically, that's what you are doing. You're changing the block, lighting it up, experiencing it, changing the block, lighting it up, experiencing it. Every single moment. So when you consciously change the block, light it up, and experience it, that's the selection of blocks you are changing and lighting up and experiencing as an identity. Because your identity already has a set number of blocks that are associated with it. But you were never locked into a set number of blocks that are associated with anything, because you are the anything. That's a cool way of explaining it, actually. I said it as I was doing it. So in every single block, you are continuously shifting. Any kind of reaction, any kind of belief, any kind of non-belief, any kind of hoping, any kind of wanting, any kind of desiring, you experience in the block of physical experiencing. Those things don't happen outside. What is the supersedingness of this physical experience is your knowing, and you are always that knowing. That knowing is knowing all of those blocks at the same time. And you are the dead center, that no matter which block or which identity you are experiencing, it's always your choice, because they all happen as you. The word in you and as you and outside of you, they don't really have a meaning in space and time. In awareness, because there's no inside awareness, there's no outside of awareness, there's just awareness being it. We have this illusion of we are in our physical world. But you are, in a sense, experiencing the painting or the movie within the painting and the movie. So, but you are always the dead center. Again, a complete illusion that you are that I am awareness that has this beingness and human physical quality. Complete nonsense, right? But I made it there because it's familiar. It's familiar for us to have some sort of physical visage and image, knowing that it's happening in our minds like that. But there's no image, there's nothing. There's nothing. Our imagination, even that colorful, beautiful spectrum of color, it's nothing. The physical reality that's blocked and solid is nothing. It's just a way to depict it. That's it. It just looks familiar. All of that is the same substance, being it in a different way. And there's actually no gap between those things. The solid borders, there's nothing. There's no solid border between your imagination and your physical reality and you as I am awareness. I am awareness is all of that. Without a border and without any kind of materialization where it's sitting somewhere and it's all happening in it. There's nothing. It's complete and utter nothingness that contains an infiniteness of beingness. That nothingness is infinitely intelligent. It has no body, it has no materialization to it, there's nothing. It is a non-local nothingness that exists nowhere. But it has given itself, from its own infinite knowing, the illusion of what it is, of being everywhere, and the concept of everywhere. You see, for Source, it has created where it is. It has created the very idea of being somewhere. It has created the place where it is, and this infiniteness of creation. It doesn't matter if those places are physical or non-physical. It doesn't matter if those places exist as a materialized place or not. When you're dreaming, you are in a world that has no computational physics whatsoever. But when you're dreaming, you don't think about any of that. It just works. See, reality has no problem with the way that it just works. But because we're so ingrained in our physical, we require everything to work physically. But Source doesn't have that, and you are that very same Source. And I am your host, Reese. This is Reality with Reese. Thank you so much for joining me today. Much love, much light. Thank you for the questions as well, always. I love answering them. Thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, thank you for joining, thank you for joining the TikTok page, thank you for the questions on the TikTok page, couple jumping in there, and thank you for the emails as well. People who, I'm not sure from where they're coming from, but they're emailing as well. Thank you for that. I think it was TikTok. Thank you for joining the Facebook group as well. Much love, much light, and I will see you guys all in the next one.